Assalamu alaikum, students. Today, as you know, on Sunday, inshallah, we have our end of term one exam. So today I will give you a thorough revision from the revision pack, and revision pack has been already given to you, and in the class we have solved it. So here I'm presenting the model solutions, which are also shared with you. If you can look into the revision pack, the second page is devoted on making you familiar with the IGCSE formula sheets. Although in this test, the formula sheet is not directly relevant because if you look, you can look into the 75% or 80% formulas. They are related to a chapter which is mensuration, area, volume, perimeter. And then we have one formula for quadratic equations, and the last one is related to trigonometry. But trigonometry, inshallah, in term two, we will be doing sine rule, cosine rule, area of a triangle, all these things will be discussed. So let me go over with our study list. So in chapter number 10, we are testing only straight line graphs, how to draw the straight lines. In chapter number 11, we are testing the skills of knowing and applying Pythagorean theorem and similar triangles along with similar shapes, where we will compare lengths with the lengths, length with the areas, and length with the volumes. Chapter number 15 is related to statistics, where we talked about mean, median, mode, range, quartiles, interquartile range. Then in chapter number 14, there is one unit left. The rest of the units we have already covered in term one, and this is related to inequalities, graphical inequalities. Chapter number 18, it is on um, two topics, simultaneous linear and nonlinear equations, and the second is calculus, which is derivative of functions. Then chapter number 20 is again on statistics, where two important diagrams, histogram and cumulative frequency, will be discussed with you. Last but not the least, chapter number 23 is devoted on transformation, where the student needs to know all four transformations: translation, reflection, rotation, and enlargement. And also the most important topic of IGCSE is vectors. Okay, so vectors, magnitude of a vector, position vector, and vector geometry. Um, you guys can also consult the IGCSE book, all the past paper sheets in the class, or as a homework which is given to you. Online resources, you guys can refer to savemyexams.com, Best Exams Help, or Crack A Level Word Progress or .com, the WordPress.com. You can find resources, and there are so many others. On Teams, you can find all the resources published. Formula sheet is one of the resource. Tracing paper, you might need it when you do the transformation. Geometry box is also needed, especially the ruler in this exam, and compass, protector, pencil, HB pencil. Exam rule is this: you need to know our exam has 120 minutes, and the total marks of the exam will be 30. Spaces will be provided under every question. Scientific calculator is allowed, and guys, don't forget to bring your calculator with you, and that the recommended calculator is FX991EX. Students should write in dark blue, or the dark blue is better, and may use HB pencil in addition to a ruler for any diagram and graphs. So the first chapter is As you can see, chapter number 10, straight lines and quadratic equations. Here, the first question is write down the equation of a line. A person can write the equation of a line if he knows two important things. Number one, gradient. And we all know gradient is rise over run. And the second thing is called y-intercept. Y-intercept is the point where the line cuts the y-axis. So the line is already drawn. You can see that. So what we need to do, we need to check where the line cuts the y-axis. The line cuts the y-axis at -1. So we wrote here -1. Then the next target is what is the slope or what is the gradient. So from the y-intercept, you need to see where the line next cut or next passes through a corner of a square grid. Okay, so I can see now these two dots. I put it over there. I have to go up. Yani this is rise. So how many units I go up? 3, and then I go 1 unit right. So rise over run will be 3 over 1. That is my gradient. So in fact, I must say my gradient is 3. And that 3 will be written over here as the coefficient of x. And the constant beside this one is a y-intercept, which is -1. So this question carries 3 marks, right? Next thing is write down the gradient of the line. So whatever the coefficient of x is, that is always the gradient. Complete the table. So sometimes examiner gives you equation of a line and he wants you to draw the line. So drawing of a line is required. In order to draw the line, a person needs to complete the table. Now, the values of x is on the discretion of a person because they are independent values. So here you can see examiner chooses -2, 0, and 3. Now, we can plug these values one by one into the original equation to get the corresponding values of y. So y is equal to 2x -3. In the place of x, substitute -2 first. It's better to keep the brackets on, -2, -3. So 2 times -2 is -4, -4, -3, it gives you -7. So guys, in the same way, you find -3 and 3. Okay? And in second time, in the place of x, you substitute 0. And 2 times 0 is 0, 0 minus 3, and my answer is -3. And third time, we to have y is equals to 2. In the place of x, you substitute 3 minus 3. So 6 minus 3, so the answer is 3. Now, this gives you 3 points. I have to plot these 3 points. What are the 3 points? -2, -7. I have to plot this point. It tells you 2 left, 7 down. So 2 left, 7 down. So I put a dot over there, right? 0, -3 is this point. And 3, 3 is this point. Now draw a line passing through all these 3 points will give you the line, and you are done with the drawing of a line. Question number 3 is, I gave you write down the coordinates of the points where the line crosses the y-axis. So either examiner says where the line has the y-intercept, or he can say where the line crosses the y-axis. So now in this case, he is writing a point. So a point on the y-axis has x coordinate always 0. And what is the y-intercept? That is 5. So we wrote here 5. I hope it is clear. Find the equation of a line which is parallel to this line. Interesting. If you have two lines parallel, geometry says that coordinate geometry, that their gradients will be the same. This is the condition of parallelism, that gradients will stay the same. Y-intercepts can be changed, but gradients will be the same. So if I say y is equal to 2x plus 3 is the equation of this line, then obviously I'm going to write the second equation, which is parallel to the first line, y is equal to 2x, just change the y-intercept. So both lines will be considered parallel, right? So here, it's my choice to choose any y-intercept, but I have to keep my gradient same since I'm writing parallel lines. In the same way, guys, there are two special geometrical properties. These are two parallel lines, and these are two perpendicular lines. For parallel lines, gradients are same. For perpendicular lines, they're negative or opposite reciprocals. So the product of the two gradients should be -1. This is one condition. Or first gradient is the negative reciprocal of the second. Suppose if m1 is 2/3, the perpendicular gradient will be -3/2. That's the important point which you need to keep in your mind while drawing the finding the equation of a perpendicular line. Next question, write down the coordinates of A. Now, if I want to write the coordinates of A, guys, since this point is on the y-axis, that's why the x-coordinate is 0 and the y-coordinate is 1. Now, the gradient of line AB, yes, agreed. We have to use how much from the y-intercept I go up and how much I go right, but I'm not going to choose 0.5 because this distance is 0.5. It's better. That's why you see I have gone two boxes up and two boxes to the right. So the two boxes up are actually representing 2 units, but two boxes to the right is representing just 1 unit. So that's why I wrote 2/1. Many students, they might have some confusion that they think like the two boxes mean 2 units. No, 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 no. You need to check your horizontal scale, which is 1. So 2/1 is your gradient. You can write 2/1 or 2. Now, equation of a line, as everyone knows, we have a y-intercept, and our c is 1 and our gradient is 2. So y is equals to mx plus c. We can write it. Now the next question examiner asks you, can you write the equation of a line which is parallel to this line? So if you want to write the equation parallel, you need to keep the same gradient. However, you should change the gradient, the y-intercept. So if he chooses -4, you can choose any other number. And here I have chosen -4. Now we go in further details regarding finding the midpoints of the 2 points. So suppose if he gives you a B point 9,3 and A point 5, -5, to find the midpoint, we need to add the x coordinates divided by 2, and we need to add the y coordinates and divide it by 2. So that gives you the midpoint. Yes, another important point, if you want to find the distance between the 2 points. So the distance between the 2 points is basically Pythagorean formula. So Pythagorean is a big square root. Under the brackets, you need to write x2 minus x1. Yani I have my 5 and 9. You can write either 9 minus 5 or 5 minus 9. And y2 minus y1, you can write -5 minus 3 or 3 minus -5. Be careful, you have to write here differences of the x coordinates. Again, I'm repeating, you can write 9 minus 5, this is also correct, or 5 minus 9 is also correct. And in the second bracket, you should write -5 minus 3 or 3 minus -5. Basically, you are writing the difference of x in the first bracket and the difference of y coordinates in the second bracket. while using this Pythagorean formula. So many students, they sometimes forget to write a plus sign. They write multiplication. No, there is a plus sign in Pythagorean. In Pythagorean, when you try to find the longer length, the two shorter sides, you always have shorter side square and plus shorter side square. So you always have a plus sign in between them. Anyways, in my next topic, I will furthermore explain the Pythagorean to you. Another important point. Some students, they just write their answer as a whole number. No, in IGCSE, you have to keep your answer to the three significant figures. Now, from examination point of view, there is also an important aspect. Sometime examiner asks you, he gives you 2 points and I ask you, can you write the equation of a line in this form, y is equal to mx plus c form? So m is what? Again, m is a gradient. And what is the formula for the gradient? y2 minus y1. And you write rise on the top. Rise is related to the y coordinates divided by the x coordinates, 8 minus 3. Now here, point is to be noted, if I'm trying to find m, so my technique is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 or y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. This is very, very important. In finding distances, there is no restriction that you have to keep the same direction of differences. But here, if you want to find the gradient, and here a is 316 and your b is 831. So if you want to do 31 minus 16 on the top, then you are restricted to take 8 minus 3 in the denominator. But if you say, no, I want to take 16 minus 31, then in the denominator, you should write 3 minus 8. I hope it is clear to my students. So gradient is okay. Now, once you find the gradient, boys, the gradient came to me 15 over 3 in a simplest form, 3. The second thing which is needed, that is the y-intercept. Now, if any line is passing through any point, whether it is A, B, because it is passing through millions of points, but I need to pick one point. Suppose I say I'm going to pick this point. This point, when I pick it, because the line is passing through 316, so the ownership of this line is this point 316. So I'm allowed to substitute the x coordinate in the place of x, the x coordinate in the place of x, and the y coordinate in the place of y. And I have already found m. Imagine if you substitute y here, x here, and m here, it will help you to find the value of c. So that's why, if you can see in my working, I chose point A, 316. In the place of x, I substituted 3. In the place of y, I substituted 16. I found gradient 3. I put it here. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 goes to the left. 16 minus 9 gives you 7. Now I found my c, y-intercept 7, and my gradient is 3. So the equation of a line is y is equals to 3x plus 7. So guys, 6 questions are giving you a good revision on coordinate geometry. However, if I say if this is the end, the answer is no, this is not the end. I did not discuss here perpendicular lines, but when I was explaining parallel lines, I did discuss with you the perpendicular lines. And this was given in worksheet number 6, pretty much detail. If a student after this wants to do more practice, he can go and solve the worksheet number 6, or he can solve some questions from the book. Now we go to the chapter number 11. In chapter number 11, guys, in the class, we did Pythagoras. You can call it Pythagoras theorem or Pythagorean, okay? And similar shapes. When we talk about Pythagorean, it is related to right-angled triangle. When I say right-angled triangle, that the two sides are perpendicular or making 90 degrees with each other. A line which is opposite to 90, this is very special line, and this is the longest line among the other two. Yani the total lines are 3. So this line is the longest one, and this is called hypotenuse. And these sides are called legs or shortest sides. So if hypotenuse is C, this is A, this is B, C is always equal to A squared plus B squared. Shortest side is always hypotenuse squared minus the shortest side square. The second shortest side, B, is square root of C squared minus A squared. So be careful, guys. When you want to find one of the shortest side, you have to write a negative sign. But if you want to find the longest side, hypotenuse, you need to keep the plus sign. Right? So let's move on to our first question. In the first question, guys, this is 90 degree opposite to 90. This is your hypotenuse. So in this case, I am asking you to find the longest side. If you want to find the longest side, you must have a plus sign in between, and first shortest side is 18 squared. Second shortest side is 26 or 26 squared. When I calculated it, I got my 31.6 to the 3 significant figures. My dear friend, be careful. In the Cambridge exams, you should write at least 3 significant figures. If you write more than 3 significant figures, that is accepted. But less than 3 significant figures, you lose the accuracy marks. The second question which I have selected for you guys, in this case, longest side is given and one of the shortest side is given, and I ask you to find the second shortest side. That's why I have a negative sign in between. Now, longest side is 8.5 square minus shortest side 3.9 square. When I put it in the calculator, and I got my answer 7.55 as a 3 significant figures. So normally in the exam, it carries 2 marks, 1 mark to show the Pythagorean formula, method marks, and second is to get the correct answer through the calculator, since the calculator is allowed. Third type of question which may examiner ask you, he provides you all the 3 sides, but he doesn't tell you that it's a right angle triangle or not a right angle, and asking you, can you check, is it a right angle triangle? To be a right angle triangle, this is a must that you have to show the property of a right angle triangle, which some people call converse of a Pythagorean theorem. The converse of a Pythagorean theorem is that you have to take the longest side squared. It has to be equals to the sum of the squares of the shortest sides. So I have 2 shorter sides. This is shorter side, this is shorter, and this is the longest one. So what I need to do, I need to take the square of this, I need to take the square of this, and then I need to add them, and I need to take the square root and check that is my answer equal or not. And you see that my answer's left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. I got longest side square is 1151, and the 2 shortest sides, their sum of the squares is also 1151. Interesting. So when this happens, yes, I can say that this is a right angle triangle, and the right angle is happening at B. Now we move to the similar triangles. Similar triangles are those triangles in which the sides are proportional or in the same ratio. For example, this side and this side, their ratios are same. Either I write h over 97.5 or 97.5 over h. This ratio must be the same as 118.9 over 159.9. If I take h on the top, I have to write 118.9 also on the top in the second ratio. If I write 97.5 in the denominator. So its corresponding sides 11159.9 also in the denominator. If you want to find age, always try to keep age in the numerator. Then 97.5 will be cross multiplied and it goes on the other side. You should write it like this and then copy it in the calculator and get your answer like this. Same situation applies here. I want to find x. As I said, x has to be written on the top. So x is corresponding to 10. So I'm going to write x over 10. Okay. And I will use the same way. 6 corresponds with 8. So 6 on the top and 8 in the denominator. Apply the same procedure, you get 7.5. If you want to find y, so y corresponds with 9. So I wrote y over 9. And then don't write 6 over 8 because now since you write y on the top, now 8 will be on the top and 6 will be in the denominator. So some students, they do the mistake like this. You have to respect if y is taken on the top, then 8 should also be taken on the top. And then your final answer is 12. Then 11.3 came. Sometimes they give you shapes. Like here, they gave you a shape and he's trying to compare areas and volumes. So this is age and this is 20. So I wrote here age over 20. And I wrote their corresponding volumes. Age volume is, because it's bigger, its volume is 2592. And the smaller shape volume is 1500. Interesting point. I cannot compare length ratio with the volume. Why? Because volume is normally written as centimeter cube, suppose. Length is written as centimeter. How come a centimeter cube can be written as equal to centimeter? So that in order to make the equality, you have to take the cube of the lengths, or you have to take the cube root of the volumes, then these two ratios will be equal to each other. So be careful. If you are writing age over 20, you have to write cube on the top, and then this ratio will be equal to the volumes ratio. Since I want to find age, I have to send the cube to the other side. The opposite of cube is cube root. So on the ratio of volume, you have to put the cube root. And cross multiplication, this 20 will go to the other side. And then you write everything in a calculator, and then you get your final answer. Some students, they do this mistake when they use calculator. They write cube root 2592 over 1500, and they keep 20 under the radical. No, don't do that. You have to move the cursor out on a calculator, and then you can do that. Another important point, cube root can also be written as 1 over 3. So if a student doesn't know how to write on a calculator this cube root sign, you can also write 1 over 3. So 2592 over 1500, and then times with 20. That gives you the final answer. So I hope it is clear to you. Question number 2, which I'm giving here, I'm comparing areas. So in the same way, if I want to compare the lengths with the areas, either I put the square on the lengths. If I don't want to write the square on the lengths, then I have to write square root on the ratios of areas. Both things will be acceptable. So I wrote here m over 8 because I want to find m over 8. And on top, I wrote square. And here is the ratio of their corresponding areas. Now I send the square to the other side. I put a square root on top of the ratio of areas and cross multiplication of this 8 on the other side. That gives me 5. Then guys, we go to the chapter number 12, averages. Averages, there are 3 averages, mean, median, mod. Mod is normally used for qualitative data, okay? And mod is that value which occurs in a data most frequently. Like 0 is occurring in the data most frequently. That's why mod is 0. So no need to calculate anything. Just look into the data. Even though no need to organize the data, you just give your answer directly. However, if you want to find the mean, you need to add all the values. No need to organize the data and divide it by the total number of values. So mean will also be very simple for you. But if you want to find the median, oh, it's the must. Your data has to be written in a ranking form from smallest to the largest. The great thing is this, the data provided to you is already ranked, already ordered. So start using crossing technique. So I cross the first, second, the first last, second and second last, third and third last, fourth and fourth last, and in between you are left with 2 medians. We cannot write 2 medians. You just add the 2 medians and divide it by 2. That gives you the median. Easily you can do that. That's not a big problem. If your number of values even, you always get 2 medians. If your n is odd, you always get 1 median. And there is one formula to find the positions for the median, n plus 1 over 2. I'm telling you this formula, sometimes the data is very big. Suppose if I have 25 values, now 25 is odd, and 25 plus 1 over 2 is 26 over 2, and this is 13th value in the data will be the median for me. But if I have 26 values, so I substituted here n plus 1 over 2, so 26 plus 1 over 2, so that gives me 13.5th value. Now 13.5th value doesn't exist. It is between 13th value and 14th value. So I need to look into the data, which value is ranked at the place of 13th and which value is kept at the place of 14th. So these 2 values, I add them and divide it by 2 to get my median. That's the story behind the median. Next question is pretty simple, guys. I first rank the data, okay, from the smallest to the largest. And then I use the crossing method. I left behind 3 values on the left, 3 values on the right, and in the middle, I left with 2 values. Since the data was even, I was expecting to get the 2 medians. So in order to get 1 median, add them divided by 2, you get 3.5. Another important aspect about the comparison of averages, which average is appropriate at which time. So in this particular case, my friends, median is preferable as the data contains one outstanding value, 18. Look, rest of the values, they are very close to each other, but one value is demolishing the mean, as mean takes on board all the values, and one outstanding value may change the, the centralized position of the data. That's why in such a case, we don't go for mean, rather we choose median. So sometimes examiner ask you question, why in this case, mean is not an appropriate average. You say that since 18 is an outstanding value, and this outstanding value will not give us the realistic information, rather we need to go for median. Sometimes a qualitative data is given and examiner asks you, okay, shall I find mean, median, mod? You will definitely say, go for a mod, because mod is highly preferable as it is related to qualitative data. So which frequency, and there are 10 cars, So car is my median. Okay, so which type of average? We will go for mod. But what is the mod of the data? The mod of the data is a car. Next thing, sometime examiner gives you a frequency table. Yani frequency table means one repeats in a data 50 times, two repeats in a data 40 times, three repeats in a data 10 times, four repeats in a data 20 times, and five repeats in a data 5 times. Now I want to find a range. Range is smallest value in the data is 1 and the maximum value is 5. So maximum minus minimum is going to give you your range. But I want to find my median as well. If you want to find your median, there is one thing which is called cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency is used when the data values are so many and you want to rank them, you want to organize them, you can write another column or another row which is called cumulative frequency. In cumulative frequency, you write the first frequency as it is, and then you keep on adding this value with the next frequency. So 50 plus 40 gives you 90, 90 plus 10 gives you 100, 100 plus 20 gives you 120, 120 plus 5 gives you 125. But the last value should match with the total number of values. Now, interesting point is this. This is, as I said, it is a ranking. So all first 50 values are 1. Now, 51st value till 90th value, there are 2. 91st value till 100th value, they are all 3. 101 till 120th value, they are all 4. 121st and till 125th value, they are all 5. I want to find my median. Remember, I told you how many total values I have. I have potentially 125 values. So 125 plus 1 divided by 2, the formula where I told you, so it gives you 63. Why 63? 63 is not my median, 63rd value. So the first 50 values are 1. So 51st value till 90th value, they are 2. So obviously 63rd value is also 2. So I'm going to pick 2. Mod, where is the highest frequency? The highest frequency is 40, but 50 is not my mod. The value against this frequency is 1, so 1 is my mod. Question number 2, I just want to find the mean. So 0 value in the data repeats how many times? 1 time. 1 value repeats in the data 2 times. Do I need to add all the values, the number of times they appears? No, I just need to multiply 0 times 1, 1 times 2, and please keep the addition sign in between. 2 times 3, 3 times 5, 4 times 7, 5 times 3, and 6 times 3. Divided by the total number of values, which are 24. So I wrote it and I got my answer 3.5. Next thing is 0 times 5, 1 times 14, 2 times 39, 3 times 14, and 4 times 23 divided by total. So this is my final answer. Sometimes examiner doesn't give you a frequency table in a simple form. Rather, he gives you in a grouped frequency table form. So group means he doesn't give you a single value. He gives you a group or a class. Against that class, how many values are coming? 21. Second group, we have 16 values in this group. Third group, we have 6 values. Fourth group, we have 10 values. Fifth group, we have 7 values. Now this data missing the information, exact information. Yani I know in the first group, I have 21 values. What are those 21 values? I'm not sure. That's why in order to find the mean, I cannot find exact mean. I can find only estimated mean. In order to find my estimated mean, I have to write midpoint of every group. So in order to write the midpoint of the group, you have to add the values and divide it by 2. So 20 plus 25 divided by 2 gives you 22.5. 25 plus 35 divided by 2 gives you 30. 35 plus 50 divided by 2, 42.5. 50 plus 100 divided by 2 gives you 75. Now 75, this value, I assume that all the 7 values in the data set are 75, which is realistically not true. But this is my assumption. And this assumption will lead me towards estimation, from exactness to estimation. That's why sometimes examiner asks me why this is an estimated mean, why it is not exact mean. So the reason is because of the classes, because of the groups, and we assume all the values which are falling in that group are placing or kept at the midpoint of that group. So apply the same technique 10 times 21, 22 times 16, 22.5 times 16, 30 times 6, 42.5 times 10, and 75 times 7 divided by 60 will give you the answer. Sometimes examiner asks you model class, and if the groups are given, he doesn't ask you mod, rather he asks you model class. Where is the highest frequency? The highest frequency is 30. So the class against this 30 is 1.5 to 1.6. So this is my model class. You can apply the same situation to find the median class or median in which group it falls. But here I'm not asking median. You can make cumulative frequency again down under the frequency, and then you can find the median. It's not difficult. But this is the repeated sort of question. You see that I found the midpoint and multiply with the 7 because I want to find estimated mean height. Same idea. And that gives you 1.62. Sometime examiner asks you about the quartiles, which is not very difficult as well. Here in front of you, we have stem and leaf diagram. And stem and leaf diagram, examiner mostly asks you find the median. So median is, I have already taught you the way how to find the median. Median is total number of values are 22. Apply the formula, which I have taught you. 22 plus 1 over 2, which is 23 over 2, and that gives you 12.5. And 12.5 is basically 12th value and the 13th value. So can I start counting? Where is my 12th value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let me count it again. 23 over, no, it's not 12.5, sorry. This is 11.5. Thank you. 11.5. 11.5 is between 11th value and the 12th value. So this is my 11th value and this is my 12th value. So 29, write it with the stem, 29 and 31. Add them and divide it by 2 will give you 30, and 30 is my median. Lower quartile is you need to find the median of the lower half, and the median of the upper half is your upper quartile, and then subtract them. The lower half median is 22, guys. I found it. And upper quartile is the median of the upper quartile, which is 39. And then you do interquartile is upper quartile minus lower quartile. Let me explain you with one short data: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. Now this data is ranked. It is smallest value, and this is the largest value, right? Now, first I need to find the median. In order to find the median, cancel first, cancel last, second, second last, third, third last, fourth, fourth last. Now this is your median. I'm 100% sure I must have odd number of values because I got a single median. So this is your median. Median is E. In order to find my lower quartile, don't include E in your lower half. This is your lower half. And this is your upper half. Upper half. Can we try to find the median? Yes. Cancel A, cancel D. So I'm left with two values. So the median of the lower half is B plus C over 2, and this is your lower quartile. And the median of the upper half is canceling F and I. Upper half is G plus H over 2. And then if I ask you interquartile range, that is upper quartile minus lower quartile, so you can easily write your answer. But if I ask you range, range is maximum value, which is I, minus lower value is A. So two ranges. Range is 100% coverage. Interquartile is middle 50% range. Same idea for this case. Why I put a question number 2, because sometimes examiner asks you to he provides you the raw data. Like here he gave you 12 set of values, and then the students and he also provides you the key. Key is very, very important, guys. When you construct or draw the stem and leaf diagram, you have to know what is your stem and what is your leaf. So stem is all the tens of the numbers provided to you. They will serve as stems, and the rest of them, the units are my leaves. So with stem of 1, I have 3, 5, and 8. With the stem of 2, there are 4 leaves attached. With the stem of 3, there are 3 leaves, and with the stem of 4, 4 leaves are attached. Apply the same technique. You can find your median, you can find your lower quartile, you can find your upper quartile, and you can find your interquartile. Now we come to the chapter number 14, which is further solving of equations and inequalities. This is very, very important because students sometimes they're not very good at drawing. Before we go to inequalities, guys, this means less than sign. And graphically, when we show it, it should be drawn with a dotted lines. Easy. But if I have a greater than sign, less than sign, and equal, then on the graph, it is always shown by solid line, not dotted line. Can I say less than case or greater than case? We always use dotted lines. But if we have less than equal to case or greater than equal to case, we always draw solid lines. Now let me explain you when I say y less than mx plus p. So my dear friend, for me, less than means lower is my wanted portion. Lower portion. Less than means lower. Less than, y is less than lower. So if this is the line, this is my lower, and this is my upper. So lower is my wanted, and upper is my unwanted portion. Let me go furthermore in detail. Suppose if in the exam I said y less than 2x plus 3. Can you draw this on this inequality? It's very simple. My y-intercept is 3. So this is 1, 2, 3. My gradient is 2 over 1. So I go 2 units up and 1 unit right. So basically, this is a dotted line. Why dotted line? Because this is the strict inequality. Now, this dotted line has divided the plane into two parts. This is the upper part, and this is the lower part. Less than means lower. Less than means lower. So this lower part is my wanted, and the upper part is unwanted. In the exam, if he says you have to shade the unwanted, so you always shade the unwanted part. Don't shade the wanted part. Now let's go to the questions, and then inshallah you will understand very well how to shade the wanted or unwanted region. First is y greater than equal to 3. A student needs to know y greater than equal to, what is this equation? This is y is equal to 3. Everyone knows horizontal lines. This is y is equal to 3. Now this is the upper part of the line and this is the lower part. If he says y is greater than equal to 3, y is greater than equal to 3, it means the upper is my wanted. So upper is wanted, so Mr. Umar is going to shade the unwanted. This is my unwanted. So I shaded the unwanted blue. That's why I used a blue um, color here. Now go to the next, y greater than equal to 5x. So y greater than equals to 5x is, at first I need to know what is, how to draw the y is equals to 5x. Y is equal to 5x plus 0. I'm standing on the y-intercept. I need 5 over 1 is my gradient. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. So this is, where is this line? Where is this line? This line is here. This is my y is equals to 5x. He used greater than equals to. Greater than means upper portion is my wanted and the green portion is my unwanted. So this is my unwanted portion. No need to shade the blue part because that part is already shaded. So keep shading that part which is needed to be colored. So Alhamdulillah, so far, the blue and the green areas are unwanted. Now the third equation is x plus y is equals to 6. So can I write x plus y is equal to 6? Y is equals to negative x plus 6. So my y-intercept is 6. Oh, yes, he's talking about this line. Okay, I got it. And my gradient is negative 1 over 1. Negative 1. So 1 down, 1 right. Yes, he's talking about this line. How can I decide? He uses a word x plus y less than equal. Oh, less than means the downward portion is wanted. Lower portion is wanted. So I need to shade the upper portion. So upper portion, only the empty space was left that is shared, that is colored with yellow is this part. So Alhamdulillah, I'm left with a small portion which is um, still unshaded, and I will label it as R. So you need to write R in that area which is still uncolored. And this is my wanted portion. So how nicely we sorted out the unwanted portions. We keep them colored, and the in the end, finally, whatever is left to us, that is our final answer. Next question is done in the same way. Y is equals to 2. This is y is equal to 2. Greater than mean upward portion is wanted to downward portion is unwanted. So I have kept the unwanted portion blue. Then x plus y is equal to 6. This line, I'm talking about this line, y-intercept is 6. Greater than mean upward portion is wanted. This yellow is unwanted. Y is less than equal to x plus 4. I'm talking about this. So less than means downward portion is wanted and this pink portion is unwanted. And then the last, he uses less than equal to. So the downward portion is wanted, upward portion is unwanted. And you are left with this blank area, write R over there, that this is my wanted region. Then he gives you an opposite situation when he has drawn the line and he said that this is your R. Can you try to identify? First of all, you need to know the equations of the lines. First is y-axis, whose equation is x is equal to 0, but I want to take the right-hand side. So x greater than equal to 0. Second equation, this, you can see how I wrote the y-intercept and the gradient. Since I want the downward portion, that's why I use less than equal to. All of them are non-strict inequalities. The third one is y is equals to half x is the equation of a line. Since I want to take the upward portion, that's why I use a greater than equal to sign, and then it is done. Now we come to the curved graphs. So curved graphs is he gives you first equation and second equation. Both of them are equal to y. So we put them equal to each other. Okay. Replacing y. Once we put them equal to each other, then we do the simplification. The right hand terms will go to the left hand side. And now we got an expression in terms of x. After simplification, we will end up with a quadratic equation. Now, quadratic equation can be factorized. I wrote a factorized form. If a student knows the calculator function mod53, they can enter the coefficients of x square and coefficient of x and a constant. The calculator will give them the answer x is equal to 8 and x is equal to 3. Now, these two values, I can write them here, but I have to write the corresponding values. How can I get it? I need to substitute these values one by one into the easy linear equation. So linear equation is y is equal to 2x minus 3. In the place of x, he substituted 8. And second time he substituted 3. He got 13 for 8. And for 3, he got 3. Second question is also the same. Y is equals to, we put them equal to each other and get a final quadratic equation using calculator, gives us two values of x, 2 and 4, and corresponding to that, I found the two values of y. This is easy. Then we come to calculus differentiation. The derivative of a constant is 0. The derivative of 4x is 4. The derivative of negative x squared is negative 2x. So what we have learned in derivatives, if I have x power 5 and I want to differentiate it, the power travels back, and from the power, I need to subtract 1, and then I get my answer. And be careful, if I have to find the derivative of 2x, the derivative of x is 1, so 2 times 1 is 2. But if it is just written 2, a constant number, the derivative of a constant is always 0. So that's why the derivative of 6 plus 4x minus x squared is 4 minus 2x. And then he says, find the turning point of the graph. So turning point means if this is the graph we have, it is facing downward, as it is a parabola. So he's asking you this point where the graph is turning. And at the turning point, if you draw a tangent, and that tangent is parallel to the x-axis, any line parallel to the x-axis has a gradient 0. And I told you in the class that uh, derivative, differentiate any function, we always get a gradient of a tangent. So dy by dx is basically m, and you need to put dy by dx equal to 0 if you want to find the turning point or if you want to find the stationary point. So here he asks you turning point. I already found my derivative. I put it equals to 0. I get the value of x. I want also the corresponding value of y. It's easy, like as in the previous question, we substituted into the original function. In the place of x, we substituted 2. We solve it, and we got 10. Second question on differentiation, I also gave you x squared minus 6x plus 20, differentiated 2x minus 6. And then since I want to find the turning point, I put 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. It gave me x value of x 3, and the value of y is also 11. I found my answer. Now, histogram and cumulative frequencies came. In the class, it was explained to you that for histograms, it's a must. We need to calculate the frequency densities. If examiner gives you the diagram already, then he definitely writes frequency density rather than frequency. And what's the important formula a student needs to know when they want to do the histogram question? So frequency on the top, frequency density, and this is your class width. Class width is basically if I give you a class and I ask you what is the class width, upper limit minus the lower boundary. Okay, so B minus A is your final class width. It's not like a midpoint. It's like the range of the width, range of the class. And frequency density formula will be now frequency density is equal to frequency over class width. And if you want to find the frequency, it means frequency density times class width. Another important thing, which is called sometimes examiner not interested in frequency density, rather he is interested into height. So height is proportional to frequency density. So frequency density times the scale factor. Yes, mostly the value of k is 1. Yani whatever you found the frequency density, that is equal to the height. But if it is not matching, you need to find that value by the given height divided with the frequency density, and that gives you the value of k. So let's look into it, and then we will understand what I'm talking about. If I look into my data set, he said that the number of people mean frequency is already given. So I need to give frequency here and here. So frequency density for the second group is 1.5. Lovely. So if you look at the formula, if you want to find the frequency, so frequency density should be multiplied with the class width. So what's the frequency density? It is 1.5. What's the width? It is moving from 15 to 5 to 15. So 5 to 15 class width is 10. Can we multiply them? 1.5 times 10 gives you 15. So that's my frequency. Now, the second last class frequency is also missing. So can I find what is the frequency density and what is the width? It is 20. We multiplied them together and we got 22. Next case is he gave you frequency already 40, 70, 60, and 50, 30. Class width I can calculate 110 minus 90 gives you 20. 120 minus 110 is going to give you 10. 125 minus 120 gives you 5. 140 minus 125 gives you 10. Now, what is the formula you have learned? Frequency over class width. I got it. Frequency over class width. But the problem is this. My answer is not matching. When I did 60 over 5, it gives me 12. But the guy has written 6. So it means my scale factor is 2. So I have to 60 over 5, whatever the answer I get, I need to divide it by 2. Yani 30 over 15 divided by 2 gives you 1. 70 over 10 divided by 2 is it's giving me 3.5. So if a student doesn't divide by 2, that student will lose 1 mark. Okay, so height is not directly related, and height is not always equal to frequency density. You have to check that is the frequency density needs to be multiplied with any scale factor. Like in this case, my scale factor was half. Okay, or you need to divide it by 2. So be careful. The next question, there is a little bit confusion happens in this question. I'll tell you why. First, find the class width. We found the class width, very easy. And then frequencies are already provided to me. And a student needs to find the height. Uh, the height which is already provided to me can help me to find the scale factor. Because when I did 65 over 2, my answer was 6.5. And 6.5 is not equal to 8. So what I did 8 divided by 6.5, and that gave me 1.23 something. Normally, it doesn't happen. But when I give this question, so I don't know, this question came, Yani will set for you that our ratio is coming into, recurring decimal. So that's why I had to go for approximation. So I used 3 significant figures, so 1.230. So, but in the final exam, it shouldn't happen. Okay, as traditionally speaking, we always get a whole number. Either it's multiplied with or 1 decimal place. But here I have to go for approximation because the answer was coming to me as a recurring decimal. So 1.23, 1.23. I multiplied with all the ratios: 55 over 15, 90 over 10, and 65 over 10. and 40 over 20 will give you these answers. And this is my frequency density. Next is frequency, cumulative frequency. A student needs to know what is the highest value. 40, and 40 divided by 2 gives you, sorry, 80. 80 divided by 2, yani the 50%. Median is median is 50%. Upper quartile is 75%. Lower quartile is 25%. So you have to take 75% of 80, which is 60. 50% of 80 is 40. 25% of 80 is 20. And then you go straight horizontally and then strike the curve and come vertically downward, then that gives you lower quartile, upper quartiles, and the medians. So 75% is your upper quartile, 50% is median, and 25% is your lower quartile. And in the same way, you can find your interquartile range. Sometimes the examiner gives you more than 40. So rather than the information is provided here, it is given in the horizontal axis. So more than 40 is this range. So go up from 40. So I need the information this, so how many people are representing this from 75 to 80. So there are 5 people. So that's why it is written 5. Next is transformations. So there are 4 type of transformations we have learned. Number one is, Yani, the guy says that draw the image of a triangle under the line y is equal to minus x. There, this line is y is equals to minus x. Now I want to do the reflection. Diagonally, we should move as A is the main image, and we have to move, transform it to the new reflected figure. So go diagonally, 1, 2, 3, half, 1, 2, 3, half. So when we do that same distance, we move on. 1 half, half, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, half, half, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then you can easily make this new figure. And this is your reflected figure. Translation is pretty easy. He gives you the column vector. You have to move 2 units left and 9 units down. So I'm going to go pick this point, 2 units left and 9 units down. I go here, 2 units left and 9 units down. I came here, 2 units left and 9 units down. I came here. So this is my translated figure. I drew that. Next is from A to B. Obviously, this is an enlargement, and how we can find the 3 things of enlargement. I told you in transformations, reflection and translation always gets 2 marks, but rotation and enlargement, they carry 3 marks, as we need 3 things in enlargement and in rotation. So why it is enlargement and what are the things required? In enlargement, you need to know the center. So the center is found if you connect the corresponding points and join them and extend the line towards the smaller object. So when you extend it, you will see your lines will be intersecting at one point, and that will be the center. So my center is -7 and 8. How to find my scale factor, boys? Scale factor is, final figure is what? The smaller one, take horizontal length or the vertical length. So I'm taking the horizontal 2 boxes versus 4 boxes. So 2 boxes versus 4 boxes. When I 2 boxes versus 4 boxes, in a simplest form, it gives you half. Or if you want to take the vertical length, 3 boxes versus 6 length, so 3 over 6 obviously will give you half. So this is my scale factor, half. Next is rotation, boys. Rotation is easy in terms of like when I want to find the center, how I come to know that this is rotation and how it is 90 degree, because look that this is looking, and this is a vertical height and it changes to the horizontal length, the vertical is changes to the horizontal. So when vertical changes to horizontal, this is for sure 90 degree. And you can see that easily it is moving in a clockwise direction. in a clockwise direction. So you write 90-degree clockwise, you get 1 mark, rotation, giving you 2 marks. Center. Center is important. And I think I suggest you guys use a tracing paper. In a tracing paper, and I share with you the video, practical video, how we can use the tracing paper. In the final exam, you need to place the tracing paper on the grid, and then you need to copy. Let me explain you here. Suppose this is the original triangle, and you want to rotate it about some point, and I don't know which point it is. You have to place, first of all, the tracing paper, and you have to draw the y-axis, trace that y-axis, which is exactly on the page, and you also have to trace the x-axis. So you write x here and you write y here. You have to trace the original triangle. Okay, now there are several points here. There are several points here. And also keep your eye on this triangle. Now, this is your tracing paper. And now you want to move the tracing paper. But in order to move the tracing paper, you need to put the tip of the pen somewhere. Yani, there are so many points here. So suppose you put the needle of the pen and you press it hard on the center, and then you rotate it 90 degrees. Your x will match with the y, and your y match with the x when it rotates. Then this figure will also rotate. If it exactly matches with this shape, that is the correct center. But if it is not the correct center, you can use hit and trial and use many points which are given over here, and then finally, and you keep rotating. This is an easier way to find the center. However, there is a longer way, which I can explain it to you. You have a triangle, you have a triangle, and you have this triangle, and you need to know what are the corresponding points. So students can pick this point and draw a perpendicular bisector. You need to know how to draw the perpendicular bisector. So these 2 points, you draw the perpendicular bisector. Now this point and this point, this is A and this is A dash, this is B and this is B dash. Now students can draw another perpendicular bisector. Now both perpendicular bisectors are cutting each other at this point. So this is the center. This is a second method which the students can use to find the center. By joining, by drawing 2 perpendicular bisectors, and if I choose A and A dash, the yellow perpendicular bisector. If I choose B and B dash, I drew a blue perpendicular bisector. Where the blue perpendicular bisector intersects with the yellow one, that is the center of rotation. I hope it is clear to you guys. So I have explained that one. Next is the guy has provided you the translation vector 2 minus 1. Again, you have to draw it. So you have to move 2 units right and 1 unit left. The trick is this one, the 2 boxes are representing 1 unit. So some students, they might think, okay, I have to move 2 boxes. No, you have to move 4 boxes to the right, because 4 boxes represents 2 units, and 2 boxes down, which represents 1 unit. So this point goes here, and this point goes here, and this point goes here. So now I get that translated figure finally. Then 90-degree clockwise, guys. Now that this time the rotation is already given to you. You can trace y-axis, you can trace x-axis, you can draw the original triangle, and then you write here x, you write here y, you write here y, you write here x. Your x came here, your y came here. So this triangle, after the rotation of 90-degree clockwise, it moves to the new position, and this is the new position. Note down these points. This point is 1, -2, and this point is 4, -2, and this point is 4, -4, which is written on the tracing paper. Then later on, you can put these dots on the original grid, and then you can draw the figure. Oh yes, guys, enlargement negative. Enlargement negative means we get an up upside down shape, whether bigger or smaller. Suppose if I have a big triangle and you get a small triangle, but it is upside down. When you get the upside down shape, it means the scale factor is, your scale factor is negative. If you have a shape like this and a same orientation, a smaller or bigger shape is coming like a similarity, then you have a scale factor always positive. Scale factor always positive. But when the in enlargement the scale factor is negative, when we have upside down situation, easy. How to find the scale factor? For example, this point is gonna join with this point, and this point is going to join with this point, and this point is going to join with this one. So your center of enlargement comes in the center. Suppose this is your object and this is your image. So center will be falling between object and the center. It is that case when the scale factor is negative. Now, in this case, examiner is asking you, can you draw the shape with a scale factor negative half? Easy. What is the center? Now he provides you the center. Center is negative 2, 3. So my dear friend, the best way is you can draw the line from here to here, and you draw the line. And also you can draw the line from the original to the center, a big line, you draw that. And you keep counting how many digits you have to move on. Suppose that I move here from the center 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 2. So 8 and 2 are the coordinates relevant to the center. Can I write the coordinates relevant to the, or with the reference of negative 2, 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, it's a 12, 3. Can I write the coordinates here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So I wrote this coordinate. Now all these points, can you multiply them with the scale factor minus half? So if 8 multiply with negative half and 2 multiply with negative half, that gives you negative 4 and negative 1. So from this point, can I move to the left? Negative 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and negative 1. So this point will go here. In the same way, the second point, when it is multiplied with negative half, I came over here. The third point, when I multiply with negative half, I go there. So I can find the 3 points by using the coordinate transformation. However, if a student is very good in understanding the length, so he knows that he has to take the half length. So half length is obviously over here. Now this is the full length, and the half on the opposite side is this one. And the same thing is, guys, when it is moving here, so the half length is coming out. So you can easily draw the enlargement here. Now y is equals to minus x. Why this thing happens? In y is equal to minus x, xy, if changes to negative y, negative x, then it is for sure a reflection in y is equal to negative x. I want to show you how it happens. Suppose if I have the coordinates, let me erase this. Yani he said that this is 2, 1. And where it goes? Negative 1, negative 2. When 2, 1 changes to negative 1, negative 2, it is for sure reflection in y-axis. Or if you don't believe, you can draw your y is equal to minus x line, same distance. So same distance. It is a perpendicular bisector to the point and the corresponding point. So this is y is equal to negative x, line of reflection. Last, vectors. He wants you to find the magnitude. Magnitude is basically the length of the vector. If I have a vector, this is a vector A. Suppose the vector has covered some horizontal distance and some vertical distance. And this is, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6 units right. And it has gone 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 units up. So the column vector is 6, 4. So this vector has covered 6 units to the right and 4 units up. This is a vector. But if I want to find the magnitude of this vector, so I have to find the length by using Pythagorean. What is the Pythagorean, guys? The Pythagorean says there is a plus sign and you have to write the x component square and a y component square. So this is 6 squared and this is 4 squared. Now, in this particular case, I was having a negative sign, no worries. Negative 4 whole squared plus 5 squared. I know negative 4 whole squared will give you 16. Either you write negative or you don't write negative. But this negative sign will be absorbed by the square. So 4 squared is 16 and 5 squared is 25. And the answer is in front of you, square root of 41. Next is a guy is moving from point A to point B. So if you move from point A to point B, so check that 6 goes to 2. So did you go to the left or you go right? No, Mr. Omar, we go left. So this is negative 4. That's why I wrote negative 4. Okay, you move from 4 to 7. Did I go up or down? No, from 4, I go 7, 3 units up. So that's why negative 4, 3. So be careful. I'm moving from A to B. If you don't want to use this technique, you can use AB is 2 minus 6, the difference of the x coordinates, and 7 minus 4, the difference of the y coordinates. Next is I want to find 2m minus n. Simple idea is this. Vector m is multiplied by 2. So 2 multiplied with 11 and 2 multiplied with 5. And then negative n means you have to write a negative sign with the 8 and negative sign with a negative 3. So negative, negative 3. And then you simplify it, your x component and your y component, and my final answer comes. So if in the exam, the examiner asks you, find the magnitude of this vector, you can write 14 squared plus 13 squared, and then you get the answer. But Yani, I mean to say, if a vector gives you, the two vectors are given in column vector form, you can apply the uh, arithmetical operations on them. Last thing is vector geometry, very important. When I say, when I draw the diagram in front of you, there are several things which are related to the vectors in this particular context. Yani, O is the origin of the rectangular coordinate system. From O to C, this is called a position vector of point C. O to A, this is the position vector of point A. But AB is not a position vector, it's just represented by B. So OC is C, OA is A, and this is B. Unfortunately, examiner did not tell you what is the direction of BC. So now it's up to him. Either he asks you BC vector or CB vector. So he asks you CB vector. So CB directly is not known to me. So what I'm going to do, guys, I will use an indirect path. I will, first of all, because I'm starting from C, my starter is C. I will go from C to O first. So since my direction is opposite, that's why I wrote here negative C. Then I move from O to A. The direction is same, so I write here plus A. Then I go from A to B, and it is represented by B. So my answer is negative C plus A plus B. If I wanted to move from BC, my direction is opposite. So this negative C becomes plus C, this plus A becomes negative A, and this plus A becomes negative B. So BCB is done. Now position vector, as I told you, position vector means joining that point with the origin. So position vector of Q means OQ. Now how can I find OQ? Let me erase everything. How can I find OQ? OQ, as I said, Q is the midpoint. If Q is the midpoint, it divides BC in equal parts. I can say this is 1 and this is 1. Now, OQ vector is required. Now, I have two directions. In order to find OQ vector, guys, I can move from O to C and C to Q. Or I can move from O to A to B, and B to Q, which is a longer route. I need to find OQ by using OC and CQ route. OC is already given by the examiner, that is C. So OC is C. But CB is what? This is a technical point. CB is, if you can see, CQ is half of CB. Why? Because this vector and this vector. CQ is half of CB. I need to transform CQ in CB form as previously in the first part, examiner has made me to find CB. So why not CQ should be written as half of CB? And half is written here as 0.5, and CB I calculated here. I wrote minus C plus A. Then expand the bracket, minus 0.5 C plus 0.5 A plus 0.5 B. Don't you think we need to simplify our uh, this result C and minus 0.5 C, and 1 C minus 0.5 will give you 0.5 C. The rest of the values, you can copy them as it is. So my position vector of Q is also done. Next case is examiner says there is a point P as per the conditions given in the question. AP ratio PB is 2:1. So it means P has to be here. Why? Because AP is 2. So this AP is 2 and PB is 1. Okay, so total 3 parts I have made equal 3 parts of to divide AB as AP and PB. Um, so complete complete AB is represented as B, but after placing the P point, I can easily say that this vector and this vector can be written as 2/3 of B, and this is 1/3 of B. Wow. So PB vector is 1/3 of B, and here is a Q vector. I want to find AQ vector. To find AQ vector, sorry, this is PQ vector. PQ vector, I want it. Now divide the PQ vector in a way, let me make it bigger. Suppose I want, this is my P, and this is Q. You remember this was 2 and this is 1. And I told you that this vector is 1/3 of P. I want to find PQ vector. So it will be splitted as this plus this. So this is 1/3 of B. But what is BQ? BQ is again half of BC. So what is half of BC? Half BC is, I found it C minus A minus B. I'm going to write it here. Expand the brackets. Here your like terms. 1/3 of B minus half of B. So apply the butterfly technique, 2 minus 3 over 6B. So this is -1 over 6 of B. And that is the thing which I wrote it here. The other two numbers, I copied them as it is. So guys, I have covered everything in this session. I hope you understand it. If still there are some doubts, you can discuss with me later tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So